The call came just after midnight, 4 hours after my husband left the house. 4 hours after I warned him, "Don't go to his place, don't, you won't like what you find." But men never listen when their pride is louder than the truth. The voice on the other end was clinical, officer speak. Words like incident, critical, please arrive immediately. But none of it mattered. I already knew what I was walking into. Still, I did what I had to. I threw on a black coat, I fixed my lipstick, and I grabbed the policy folder I'd been hiding beneath the bed for 9 months. The one with his signature. The one that would make me a widow worth $3.4 million. I walked into the ER expecting blood. I wasn't ready for the silence. Room 402 was colder than the corridors. Colder than I expected for a place full of breathing bodies. But the breath in that room, it wasn't normal. Not my husband's, not my lover's. Especially not after what he did to him. I stepped inside. My lover's body was mangled. His mouth covered in tubes, his eyes barely open. But it wasn't the bruises or wires that made me flinch. It was the position, the object, the violation. My husband had inserted something into him, something sharp, symbolic, cruel, a literal piece of me. He found the photo. He knew. I looked at my husband sitting in the corner, hands bloodied, unmoved. He didn't run. He wanted me to see it, to feel it. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I called a lawyer. I told them exactly what happened, and what didn't. I wasn't there. I didn't send him. I warned him. Then I made coffee. Black, no sugar. And I waited. Waited while he was detained. Waited while the hospital prepped for surgery. Waited while my world realigned itself around a new center of gravity. Not him, not the lover. Me. I filed the insurance claim the next morning. I visited the hospital every other day. Not to see my husband, but to document the injuries. For court, for evidence, for my future. And on the third visit, my lover whispered something behind the ventilator mask. He said he'd kill me, but only after he made me feel like I deserved it. That was the moment I stopped being angry and started calculating. By the time the trial began, the world saw my husband as unhinged, dangerous, a former decorated officer with a hero complex and a crumbling ego. I showed up in court in black, not mourning, as a widow in waiting. I testified calmly. I submitted texts, photos, receipts. Even the warning I gave him the night before. He's not worth it. Let it go. He stared at me from the defendant's bench, eyes hollow, skin sagging, like a man who'd already buried himself before the verdict. And when the prosecutor asked if I regretted cheating on him, I smiled. I regret underestimating what betrayal does to a man who believes he owns you. The jury didn't flinch. Guilty. Attempted murder. Insanity plea? Denied. I visited him once, only once. Psych ward, bulletproof glass, padded room. He was sedated but lucid enough to speak. He said nothing when I sat down, just stared at my necklace, the one my lover gave me. I leaned forward, close enough for him to see the diamond. Then I slid the envelope across the glass. Inside, his divorce papers, unsigned. I let them sit there for a long, brutal minute before saying, "I'm not freeing you." He blinked. "You don't get to start over, not in here, not in your mind." I stood. "You'll rot with my name still wrapped around your throat." Then I left him with the one thing he couldn't kill. Me. It's been 6 months. My lover's walking again. Slower, quieter, but alive. He still calls me dangerous. And I still sleep like I haven't done a single thing wrong. People like to label things. Victim, monster, survivor, widow. I'm none of those. I'm something they don't have a word for. Because what do you call a woman who survives betrayal by orchestrating a symphony of consequences so silent no one hears the fall until it's over? You don't call her anything. You just watch her walk away. He tried to teach me a lesson in pain. But I taught him something worse: silence. Lesson: revenge doesn't always wear blood. Sometimes it wears your name. And sometimes the worst punishment is letting them live with what they did.